Right. It probably didn't matter anyway that Raila Odinga did not attend today's inauguration. He instead called for a rally, for his supporters to come around. Too little, too late, don't you think?
Yeah, too little, too late. I think it was too little, too late. I think the strategy has been flawed through and through. And, it was a mistake. It was a colossal mistake with very, very, very serious costs to it because, as he has clearly said, this was his last bullet. This was his last chance. He would not be running for president again at 72 years of age. Next time the elections come around, he's 77. He had made a pact with, his core principles that this would be his last. There was reluctance for allowing him to be the flag bearer, but he clearly is the most popular. So all through, strategy didn't work. It's unfortunate for him and unfortunate for the millions of supporters that he commands.
Right, so all these issues have caused deep divisions in Kenya, as we have already established. The President, Uhuru Kenyatta, has promised to take care of this. How do you think he's going to achieve it?
I think that the President is good with rhetoric. The problem is the follow-through. So I think that he will be making more conciliatory speeches. But then again, their style is to prove that they're not scared of the old man, Raila, that he is going to assert his authority as president. He doesn't take kindly to the fact that a lot of these guys on the other side, Honorable Raila, Honorable Kalonzo, Honorable Wetangula, Honorable Mudavadi, these are basically his seniors in age and his political seniors as well. And so he sometimes falls into the trap of trying to prove who's who. And so he could do quite a bit in trying to reconcile the country by being seen to be a unifier, by running a broad cabinet, and by avoiding attacking people in his government, such as the Auditor General, who are perceived to be from different communities that attract a lot of hostility from the government. And so I think there'll be a bit of change, but we'll wait to see. We don't know. It could just be rhetoric.
In his speech, the President promised three major things: universal health coverage, affordable mortgage, manufacturing. You said he's good at making promises, but not good at following through on them. So do you think he has a kind of people around him to help him achieve all these objectives?
Certainly, a lot of criticism has been made that the President does not enjoy good advice, doesn't have very good and selfless and objective advisors. These are all very ambitious plans. They are costly plans. They take, again, a lot of energy and innovation to think through, to implement after the formulation of policy. And so, how are you going to pay for it? The government has a lot of national debt and is pretty much struggling to pay, overheads, salaries, and what have you. It can be done, but it requires a lot of discipline and a lot of sense of purpose. And so far, in the first term, we didn't see that. Maybe we'll see a change. Again, it remains to be seen.
Right. So what do you think, after all of this, what do you think President Uhuru Kenyatta should focus on at this time? What are the most important things that he should be addressing? You mentioned the economy. What else?
To be honest, he should focus on leading the country as a whole. There's calls for secession. The country is deeply divided, certainly down the middle. So he must be seen to be the president of all, to not push any ethnic fragmentations that already exist. There are a lot of cracks. These cracks can become, points of breakage of the country. And so it's really just up to him on policy and on pronouncements to say the right things so that the country and the government he runs is part and parcel of a broad coalition of different ethnic communities coming together to define the Republic of Kenya. If he doesn't do that, then the calls for secession and the risks of secession will grow and become more real. And so it's really about action more than it is about.
Let's get back to, Raila Odinga. He has made some kind of pronouncements that he himself will be sworn in later on next month. What does he mean by that? December 12th, he said.
I think Raila is bluffing. I think he's trying everything. I think he's thrown everything from the kitchen sink. How legal would that be? I think everything that they're anchoring on is a broad principle on Article 1 of the Constitution that says that all power belongs to the people of Kenya and that the people are sovereign and that power is exercised by elected leaders. And so it's a gamble. It's a huge gamble. He must not be seen to be somebody that is acting ultra biased to the law, someone that's acting outside of the law. And as you saw, the president spoke today and proclaimed that his political formation are respecters of the law. Now, you got to play smart, and President Uhuru is definitely playing smarter politics, playing to perceptions and, vulnerability that exist in the society. And so I think that Raila will just be trying, to have himself in December. Once again, it could backfire, but then again, who knows? I don't press to have all the answers, but I think they were short on strategy and they paid the price.
Right, Benji Dolo, thank you so much for your time on Network Africa. French President Emmanuel Macron has asked for greater cooperation between Europe and Africa to tackle trafficking in the region, as the West African force set up to fight Islamist militants is taking too long to get down to work. Mr. Macron, who was speaking from Burkina Faso before a visit to Ghana and Ivory Coast, is aiming to focus his trip on youth and boost cooperation on education, the digital economy and the environment. The visit will also focus heavily on migration. Mr. Macron said he would continue to call for greater cooperation between Europe and Africa to tackle traffickers of people, drugs and arms during the Leaders' Summit in Ivory Coast. Underscoring security changes in the region, a grenade was thrown at French soldiers, wounding 3 civilians in the Burkinabe capital of Ouagadougou. Shortly before Macron's arrival, it was unclear who was behind that particular incident. Coming up on Network Africa, a look at the rise of domestic violence in African countries. That's in a moment.